of the Yudd cast. We are now live. I'll introduce myself first. My name is currently correctly spelled, unlike last episode. The Rican 3351. Next we have Mr. Energy. And then we have the Erk Squad in the back with the cat.
Where's our cat at?
In the bottom of your picture.
Ah, keyboard cat.
Yeah. Okay, Erk. Okay, so the first question tonight is, when do you update your processor? I'll lead off and say, normally I would recommend updating your processor probably every 4th or 5th generation. The first generation i7s are still working to this day, and I still see a lot of people running the Core 2 series, such as the Core 2 Quad, Core 2 Duo, and they're great processors. As long as it works and you get over 60 FPS, I think the processor should be the last thing you upgrade. Who's next?
I guess I'll go ahead. I don't know. The thing I kind of go by is whether the games you're trying to play go below 30 frames per second. If they do, then it's time to upgrade your processor, or maybe your depending maybe your GPU, whatever might be bottlenecking the system. But if you're depending like what you're doing, if you're doing a lot of video editing, then as videos get larger, once we're going past 1080p, we go to 4K or whatever, and they start making 4K videos. Processors that you have now are not going to be as good anymore, so you're going to want to upgrade. So it kind of all depends on a bunch of other stuff, but mainly like what I do is just gaming. So a lot of games that I play could still be working on some of the older processors or whatever, but maybe not as good. So once I feel they're kind of sluggish, I'll just go ahead and start upgrading either the processor, or I'll take a look at the graphics card as well, just to see which one is bottlenecking it, and kind of just upgrade from there. So.
My generic answer is going to be whenever you have the money. If you kind of can't upgrade if you don't have the money, and other than that, if your game's running like crap, if that's what you're doing, whatever you're not trying or whatever you're trying to do and it doesn't work for you, upgrade it.
All right, I just have one question for each person. What processor did you come from before your latest processor? Erk, you go first.
Depends. I went from an i3 to an i5 to an i7.
Mm-hmm.
I still have my i3 actually. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but maybe something for like a Linux server or something like that. Be perfect for.
Energy.
Yeah, I think mine. The one I was gaming on was a quad. Was a Core 2 Duo quad. So I don't remember exactly the Q9 something. I think it was, but it was a Core 2 quad. I did upgrade my home theater PC to an i5 though, but that was just I could use that for my gaming one, but I didn't. So.
And I came from a Core 2 Duo and the Core 2 Quad 8300, Q8300. It's a big step. But like I said, look at that. All of us came from older processors before we updated.
Yep.
All right, next question. Are K processors worth it? Who wants to go first?
I can go first.
Mr.
If you want to overclock, then it's worth it to buy K processors.
Energy, any thoughts?
If you have no use for it, then there's no use for it, you know?
Yeah, I buy it even though it's just I don't really overclock, but I still end up buying the K processors just because in the future, if I did want to overclock, if I start feeling that some of the games I'm running are not running as good as I want them to, and like Eric was saying, if you don't have the money, you can't upgrade. So if I don't have the money at the time, I still have the opportunity to at least overclock it and get a little bit more, maybe another year out of it or something, instead of having to go out and get another processor. So it's a little bit kind of future-proofing it just a tiny bit. So it depends.
Same here. If you don't plan on overclocking, just get a regular one. It's only a 100 megahertz difference. But the K processor is only if you're going to overclock it because it's factory unlocked. That's the good thing about it, and it will save your system and make it last another year. Right. So next question. Feelings on microtransactions in games.
I think I'll go last on that one.
You sure you want to go first?
Nope. I'll go last on that one.
I'll take the first. Microtransactions. Oh, man. Microtransactions are a waste of money, in my opinion, on certain games, such as Counter-Strike. the skins, they just look cool. There's no reason why a knife should cost a couple $100 for a goddamn knife in the game. Or in Team Fortress 2 for a special hat. Like in Battlefield, there's certain microtransactions that I approve of, such as you pay $15 and you unlock all the weapons and stuff for certain kits. For certain people that can't play, say, sniper, and they want to have the best sniper, it'll be worth it for them. Irk?
To go off of what you were saying, that's basically pay to win, which I'm not a fan of. A lot of games nowadays are doing that type of thing where you pay to win, basically. I mean, you unlock everything that you need unlocked instead of actually playing the game like every other normal person does. But stuff like Counter-Strike and Team Fortress 2, I don't really mind too much. But, I mean, it's only cosmetic. You aren't actually buying anything for the actual game other than for yourself to look at. So.
Mm-hmm. And energy last but not least.
All right. Yeah, I agree with you guys. But one of the things is yeah, it is pay to win, and things where it's just cosmetic, like you were saying, Eric. I agree. It's if you want to just change the look of it or whatever, it's fine. But I remember back in the days when you could draw up your own skin and put it on your own models and play with that, and it looked fine. And you didn't have to buy it from whatever it was, like Steam or whatever company is doing it. So. And even you can have your own maps. When Call of Duty came out and made their own map pack stuff and started selling it, it's like, well, I remember back in the day. I think I don't remember what games. I don't know. No, Battlefield didn't do this. But some other games, even including Counter-Strike, you got map packs for free. You can just download a new update, and in the update they had new maps in them from the manufacturer, from the developer, and they wouldn't charge you for it. Unreal did that. Quake did that. A bunch of other games did that, and they were not charging you up until Call of Duty came around on consoles, and then they said, all right, well, these kids, we can charge them $15 a pop for map packs, and they'll pay it. So, that's kind of where I kind of started getting a little bit sour on those microtransactions and stuff, because I was used to getting stuff, I guess, for free, unquote, quote unquote, but it wasn't. It was still extending the life of the product. It wasn't really free because they still gained money from new people that were buying the product because of the new maps or whatever. So I don't know. And then I've seen, what was that video game? Not recently. Well, recently, that they released not too long ago, and they just released a bunch of all the, like, instead of having to go through the game and progress and get all the guns and get everything, you pay $5 and get all the guns, or pay this and get all of the shields or whatever. I don't remember what game it was. It was just something recently in the news.
I know Battlefield did that. Battlefield
does that, yeah. But I don't remember. It was some game that just came out and people were kind of up in arms about it. But I just can't remember the name of it right now. But things like that, and especially Counter-Strike, like, okay, it's fine. I'm kind of protesting Counter-Strike a little bit here, but it's just because, like, the Phoenix map pack, they released it, you pay for it, and then they release another one and they take it away. Well, you already got it. Why not keep it? Why not keep those maps in rotation? And it might be just to get the stale stuff out of the way and get new stuff, but then that's just a good way for them to keep making money. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on that. Sorry for being a little bit lengthy on that, but
it's all right. So, next one. What is your favorite name brand in computer parts? Since you went last and you're drinking, I'll let you go first.
All right.
So I can drink.
Computer part brand. It's usually always going to be, I think, either the motherboard. Your motherboard brand, or your chipset, your CPU, or your GPU. In other words, your video card. Unless you like the brand your floppy disk drive is. I don't know. I don't know. It's
like, who would you get for a motherboard, video card, processor, etc.?
One of the manufacturers that I like the most from all, I think, would probably be Asus, in terms of just in general, either the monitors or motherboards. The motherboard, I actually prefer Gigabyte motherboards, but Asus has been a very good brand in general overall.
Yeah.
Like I'll buy a gigabyte for the motherboard, but not for the video card or not for this or that. It's just my preference. But I'd kind of go more towards Asus in general rather than anything else. Another company. So
Or
Asus has never let me down, dude. That's all I got to say. But I don't know. I can't really. I mean, it's be my go-to brand because that's really the only brand that I've ever bought. Never let me down, so that'd be my brand.
and you like your Samsung SSDs.
Yeah, it's Samsung, well, and Western Digital hard drives. Only blacks, though. That's the only ones I'll roll with.
I'm different from you guys. I only like Asus for the monitors. For power supplies, Seasonic, of course, but for motherboards, Gigabyte. But my go-to brand is EVGA. They never let me down in the past for graphics cards or motherboards. And that's about it. And Western Digital, I personally don't like. I prefer Seagate, in my opinion.
I've had actually bad experiences with all hard drives in terms of Seagate, um, Western Digital. I remember the first ones that really hit me hard was a Western Digital hard drive crash, and since then I've been kind of. I still buy Western Digital all the time, but I just remember that first. I think it was a 300 megabyte hard drive,
IDE, man.
and oh man, I think when it crashed, it was like, oh no, I didn't have a backup. So, but they're all, and then Seagate too. It's had its moments and stuff. So I think they all have their moments, but both Seagate and Western Digital are very good. So
I've never had a hard drive crash in my entire life.
also lucky.
Energy had one crash on him like 2 months ago.
Yeah, it was a Corsair, and that was a solid state drive, and it was a Corsair Neutron something, Neutron 3 or Neuron 3. So, yeah, I'm not buying a Corsair solid state for a little while.
Alright, next topic, guys. RAM speed. Is overclockable RAM worth it? In my opinion, not really. The recommended one, I don't recommend getting like the 1333 or anything. Just get 1600. It's the standard RAM. I run 1866 just in case I feel like overclocking it, but then you have to get the multipliers just right, and everything's such a hassle for maybe 1 FPS different, not even 2 or 3. Who wants to go next on the RAM?
I could go next. Yeah, I was just saying. Sorry, Eric. No, yeah, I was just gonna basically agree with Dom. But if you're trying to overclock, then you have to also change your voltages on your motherboard and change stuff like that. Otherwise, it might not be stable, and you might end up crashing a lot more often. Then you have to increase those voltages, and if you do it too much, you can mess it up. So, or too little, and it's gonna crash some more, and it's just better. I would just leave it because you're in games. What do you get? Maybe 2-3 FPS is most. Just up, getting a little bit better speed. So, yeah, those are my thoughts on that.
It just sounds like more of a hassle to deal with anything like that for what little it does for you.
Yeah. And everybody here runs their RAM in dual channel mode, right?
Yeah, I do.
Just making sure. So, Eric, since you answered last, let me ask you, how much RAM do you need for your system?
I'd say anything above 6, more so lean towards at least 8 to 16. But I mean, 6 will be sufficient for most things that you do, unless you're doing something absolutely insane, like like video editing and stuff like that, or Photoshop, even playing games and stuff like that. So,
Energy?
I don't know. I'd say if you can stick with, start off at 16 if you can, just to kind of future-proof it a little bit. But that allows you to run more stuff. Basically, the more RAM you have, the more stuff you can run at once. So if you're not running a bunch of things at once, you don't need as much. Or if you're gaming where, you need that much RAM because of the textures. But usually that's being handled by the graphics card. So, if you're running other stuff in the background and all that, and you want to do a lot of stuff at once, then the more RAM, the better.
I would say always with gaming, if you're only gaming, go with 8 gigs minimum. Because look at Watch Dogs. 4 gigs, you're not running that. I think the minimum is 8 gigs of RAM, recommended 16. If you're streaming or anything like that, running multi-monitors, have multiple, like if you're running Spotify and you're gaming at the same time, I would say you need more than 8 because Battlefield alone uses 6 gigs when you're playing. and you don't want it to freeze up on you when you're getting shot at. So next is going to be our favorite part this week, review on Dragon Teeth. Since we all played it, and we just got owned earlier on it, who wants to go first on this topic? Mr. Hamraiser, Eric.
I think it's pretty awesome. It's probably my favorite. Excuse me. It's probably my favorite map pack they released so far. It kind of gave me a Bad Company 2 vibe on the map propaganda, and I think it's probably the best map pack they've released since Aftermath on Battlefield 3. The only gripes that I have about it is some of the maps run really, really crappy, but some of them run really, really well. But it's also a problem that's been plagued with Battlefield is the maps run like crap in general, so one day they may fix it, one day.
One day. I'll go second on this one. The maps, I like it a lot to run and gun, except that one map that I keep on forgetting the name.
The ones that's similar to Flood Zone?
Yes.
Something Gardens, I think.
Yeah, whatever. You have to keep on running to rooftops. There's 4 sets of stairs, and the stairs aren't right next to each other. You have to go up the stairs, come around, then up the stairs, and then there's always a guy lying in the room on the floor.
Honestly, that's what Flood Zone should have been, though.
Yeah, without the flood.
Yeah, without the flood, exactly. I hated the flood on Flood Zone. Yeah. Everybody was on the roof then. At least you have a choice between going street level or up on the roof. So the battles are both places instead of just on the roofs after some jerk decides to, hey, I'm going to flood the place.
Yep. And another thing I like a lot is there's not too much armor, like in a lot of maps. Like, you can't play Railway because there's all these tanks. Or certain maps you can't play because you're getting dominated by choppers and jets, that's the word, or boats. But overall, it's a nice map pack.
Yeah, I agree. I like the map pack quite a bit. I kind of like all the maps. The one that you're mentioning, the one that's similar to Flood Zone, I like it because it's a lot more vertical type gameplay. So you have to be not just looking straight around you, but you also up and down, which is a lot harder. And so not only do you have to make sure you have your back covered, your left and your right and front, but up and all the other sides as well. So it's a different type of gameplay, but it's not something we might be used to as much. So when in Battlefield you can jump off a building and then you go with your parachute and you're fine, you can land on the ground fine, but it's a different map and it's not really what most people are used to. So I don't know. I'm trying to give it a chance, but it is something I'm kind of on the fence about as well. It's just something that's just different. As far as the other maps, I like them as well. I like the fact that train that passes by on the one with the snow on it. Just little details like that kind of make the game actually seem more alive, like the world more alive. And not just static, or even because even the Levolution seems a bit static. It's like, oh, okay, once you tear down or you break those or those cables, then that big satellite dish is gonna fall apart. And that's it. Nothing else changes. Well, that train keeps passing by. I don't know how, like every minute or so, and so you don't know when it's coming or not. So you gotta always be careful, on the lookout for that. That's something that changes it a little bit. So it's not like Grand Theft Auto and some other games where you have pedestrians just walking around and stuff like this. If you see a person, it's either an enemy or a friendly. And that's it. There's no people running away from the gunfire. There's nothing like that. So that little details like that kind of bring the world to to life. So in that kind of way, I like these maps.
So next question: wireless versus wired connection versus power line connection for gaming. In my opinion,
wired.
Yeah, wired. And I say wired because the wireless is crap. It's just to make us lazier and not think about it. Back in the day when there was no wireless, what did we do? We ran cables. We made holes in our walls, holes in the floor to run the 100-foot cable if we had to. Wireless signal is so unreliable, it's not even funny. 1 second you have 20 ping, the next second over 100 because somebody just logged onto your Wi-Fi. And Powerline is a good option in case you can't get a 100-foot wire or if you need more than that because it uses the electricity wires in your wall to work. Energy.
Yeah, wireless is. I mean, not wireless. Wired is always going to be better than anything, no matter what. Um, but I'm not too sure about power line versus wired. You think is a power line better? I mean, or similar to wired?
It's similar
Is
to
it?
wired, but you're still getting more latency because you're still
Yeah.
using a lot
Right.
more to run
Yeah,
it.
because you're running through the old wires and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Wireless has its advantages in that you can basically set something up anywhere. That's the only advantage for that. But anything that's wireless is going to be worse than anything that's wired, and that's even like mice. Like if you have a wireless mouse, you don't really want to be gaming with a wireless mouse, even though I'm sure Razer and Microsoft and Logitech make wireless gaming mouses. Um, but they're always going to be beat by their wired counterparts. So yeah.
Eric just loves. Eric, you don't love wireless?
Always go wired. I mean, sometimes it's more convenient to do wireless for certain things, but if you're gaming, dude, definitely go wired. You don't want your connection doing all kinds of funny things, dropping ping and not being very reliable. Plus, you don't get as good speeds as you would compared to wired.
Or not only that, but if your battery runs out while you're gaming, and you end up getting shot all over the place because you can move your mouse.
Yeah. But wireless makes no sense. They advertise up to 300 megabits connection. You'll never reach that. All right. So pros and cons on laptop gaming. I want to go last on this.
I can go first.
All right, I'll let you go first.
I think it's absolutely retarded because that's your laptop forever after that. You buy that and it's yours. What are you ever going to do with that once it is outdated? You ain't going to upgrade it. You ain't going to buy single parts for it to upgrade. You're stuck with it forever and ever.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I guess if the only really way that I could see ever buying that is if I was homeless and I didn't have a home to put a computer in. That's the only thing I could think of, dude, honestly. I would never buy a gaming laptop ever in my entire life.
So you can go get with a Wi-Fi at McDonald's.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that.
Energy.
Yeah, I mean it depends. I mean, yeah, it's gonna be good for it's almost kind of like one of the it's almost like a console versus a desktop PC for gaming. You can't upgrade the console if you want to. You can't go in there and change the motherboard. You can't change the graphics card. Maybe some people can do that, but not everybody can. So it's just one of those things. It would be very comparable to a console in my opinion. So yeah, like Eric was saying, once you get it, that's it. You can't really do much to it. You can upgrade, like let's say the hard drive to an SSD drive if it's not, get a little bit more speed out of it, get a little bit more time, but and there's the convenience also of being able to just put it anywhere. But then you go back to, if you're on a laptop, most likely you're gonna go wireless with a lot of stuff. So that's also introduces. It's not going to be as good as a desktop, but if there's nothing else and there's no room for a big setup, then maybe that's okay for the time being. But then once you have a chance, make sure you go out and get yourself a gaming desktop.
Yeah. Oh man, that's a complete waste of money. The price of a gaming laptop for a decent one is over $1,400. For that, you can build a beast of a gaming computer, as we all know. And I used to work in Circuit City. I actually seen keyboards melt on gaming laptops that were on all day and all night playing games. It can't manage that heat, and when the heat rises, the performance drops, and you got shit battery life.
You mean the keyboards from the laptops themselves
Yes.
would melt?
Yes, from the heat. This was back in the 8000 series card. It was a Velocity laptop. We had two different ones, and the keys literally melted off.
Wow.
Yes. It couldn't dissipate the heat. That's the problem with a laptop. It has one little fan at the bottom. What's that going to do? Like I said, it's a waste of money. It's good for portability. For that, you can just buy a Steam box if you really want a portable gaming computer. All right. Energy, this one's mainly for you. Oh, no, I just skipped one.
Yes, you did.
All right, I'll still do this one, then we go back to that. How optimized do you think GTA 5 will be?
As optimized as GTA 4 was when it went to PC from console. I mean, they're always about a year off from releasing on PC after they release on console, and there is no way they can test all the different configurations and do everything. So they're going to try and be as generic as possible. And when you're as generic as possible, you're not going to optimize very well. So it's going to be there's not going to try and detect where you're using an Intel or an AMD and try and use what Intel has as an advantage over AMD, and then go back to the AMD processor and see what advantages they can. What's the word I'm looking for? I
Provide.
guess use, yeah, that AMD can provide. So I doubt they're going to have like Mantle or whatever what that is for AMD cards for GTA, and the same thing whatever NVIDIA comes up with. It's just going to be a little bit more, basically a direct export or whatever from a console. That's my thinking.
I'll go on this one. I just hope that it won't give problems with my graphics card because it's over 2 gigs of RAM, like GTA 4. Or that when I'm playing the game, I will get more than 60 frames per second, which I don't get. I have a beast of a computer. GTA 4 won't go past 60 frames per second with VSync off for me. Irk.
GTA 4 had problems with me running Windows 8. I had to do a workaround to even get it to run on Windows 8. But I can't really comment on how optimized it'd be. I didn't play Grand Theft Auto 4 on release whenever it came out for PC. I always played it on console.
Awesome.
So.
Yeah. Alright. So, buying a pre-built computer or building your own PC? I'll go first for this one. Pre-built, it's cheaper sometimes for you. Not really cheaper. It's more convenient. It's a better word. Because a lot of people that don't know how to build, even though right now it's simple, it's like assembling Legos. I remember back in the day where you had to do slave master and all that. And the IDE cables, if you touch the wire wrong way and it's separated, you're fucked. But it's actually better to build your own system. You save hundreds of dollars. And buying a pre-built system, you can't really upgrade later on because the power supply they have is so bad. They're putting a bad 300 watt. And you can't really upgrade that. The motherboard, you can't add more. They have one PCI Express lane, stuff like that, So building your PC is better. Irk?
You might as well buy a gaming laptop to go with a pre-build if you're going to go that way. Honestly, you ain't going to do too much with it. I mean, that's cool if, I don't know, somebody's grandpap or something needs a computer and they go to the store and buy a pre-built. It's the only thing I can see why anybody would buy it nowadays. Or if somebody, like I know my buddy, he refused, and I mean absolutely refused, to build his own rig.
Why?
Because he was too scared that he would mess something up. Even though I told him I'd help him with it, he was terrified of messing something up. So that's why he went with the pre-built. Should you go with the pre-built? No, build your own. Save money. Get what you actually want and not what the store offers for you. So.
Yep. Yeah, it's always going to be better to get make your own, your own PC, build your own PC, rather than get the pre-built because you'll get the better parts that you want, and it's gonna be a lot cheaper than if you were to get those same parts with a pre-built. However, I have a friend, I remember this, but this was back quite a few years ago, who tried to build his own PC, but ended up cutting his thumb on the case, and he ended up having to go to the emergency room to get stitches. And after that, he's like, "I'm not building a PC. Can you help me? I'll buy the parts and you can help me with it." So maybe for some people it's okay for them to buy a pre-built, but it's not going to be as good as what you can get just normally. So yeah.
Yeah, and you can't expect a game really on these pre-built because a
Yeah.
pre-built gaming computers are over $2,000.
Yeah, that's why I said you might as well buy a gaming laptop while you're at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What makes a good desk? I'll let you guys go first since my desk is crappy.
Well, just having you gotta make sure that it's ergonomical or whatever. If you're gonna be on it a lot, you gotta make sure that the keyboard and the mouse and everything is in a good position where you're gonna be okay with, because and make sure it has enough room for storage if you want to put certain things in it. Other than that, I don't know.
I got this, dude. Whenever I usually go out and look for a desk, I look for one that is absolutely level, flat. Can put lots of stuff on it, like 3 monitors. Uh, Something that's not cheaply built, where you're gonna have to, buy another desk in a year or two after you beat it to shit.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, speaking of like the one that's over there, back there, that's one from like I think Walmart or something that I just picked up. It's kind of like bent, like where all the where the monitor and everything goes. It's kind of like bent down now and all that, so I don't even use it anymore.
That's how my old desk was. That and it from like sitting cups on it and stuff. It got it started warping.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn.
It was bent down in the middle from the shit that was on top of it. But this one's nice, sturdy. It has a metal frame, so nothing's gonna bend it down or anything. So.
Yeah. As you guys can see behind me, right? Okay, this side. You see that black thing? That's my old computer desk. I got tossed out Wednesday. But yeah, it was good. I got that in 2004. Lasted 10 years. But the way the 3 monitors is way too much. So right now I'm using a picnic table. Bro, I looked up the specs on this. This can hold up to 2,000 pounds. It's 6 foot long. Plenty of leg room under. It's like 6 foot by 3 feet. So I have 3 monitors. I have the computer up here. I have 5 external hard drives, a laptop, and still have space to go share. So, tips for.
Plus, if you were going on a picnic, dude, you got it.
I just take it with me. Tips for buying a mouse pad. Eric, I'll let you go first since you have the best mouse pad here.
It's not even. I wouldn't even consider it the best mouse pad, dude. It's a cheap one.
Show it on stream. It's a mouse pad.
Well, actually, I have 4 mouse pads on my desk, but this would be one of them. It's nice and thin.
Yep.
It's black. My mouse runs really well over it. But then I got mouse pads like this that shows me hockey schedules. I also double it as a coaster for my cup so I don't get rings on my desk. But what makes a good one is, I don't know, man. You can use a freaking book. I mean, anything really. I mean,
I used to use a piece of paper.
yeah, I mean, I've seen people actually tape pieces of paper down on their desk and using it for that. But, I mean, whatever works for you. I know those glass ones, they look pretty nice. Like, they're like
Yeah, I
glass
wanted
top
to
ones.
get one. But
Yeah,
I was going to break it at night.
I'd be scared to break it, and plus, that's a bit too steep in price for me for something that you're sitting your mouse on when I could buy.
It's over
this,
$40.
Yeah, this big mouse pad that I got, it's literally $10. You can get it for $10. I mean, it's still series if you're all about the names or whatever. I don't even care what name it was on it, as long as my mouse went across it and I was able to click things on my screen. So,
Energy, let's see your mouse pad.
Dude.
I know this is you want to do the show and tell on the mouse pad.
Yeah.
I have I kind of tend to disagree with you, Dom. I don't think Eric has the best mouse pad. I think I do.
I forgot about your mouse pad. Yeah,
That's
awesome.
So yeah, I had another mouse pad, and I think that was Kittens also or something because it was just what I had around. But I spilled Coke on it, so Coca-Cola, not like. And so I ended up having to borrow the other mouse pad, and it was this one. So I had another one that was supposedly a gaming mouse pad from, I think it was a Allsop or something like that. But it got warped pretty quickly. I don't know why. I never really spilled anything on it or whatever. But it was the one that has like the tiny plastic on the top and kind of like foam underneath it. It was pretty good for a little while, but it just started getting started warping after a while. Maybe it was just not a very good mouse pad, but. This has been lasting me for almost, I don't know, 7-8 months now, and it's doing good so far.
Right. Let me show everybody what my mouse pad is. See, at the time, I was using a folding wooden table, which is right there. You see that wooden table right there? That's the folding wooden table I used to use as a desk. And this is it right here.
Oh, you got like is that like plastic?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So raise the specs.
Is that what you're using now?
Yeah.
How much did you buy that for?
You don't even want to know. It was like $20.
I was thinking
That's
about
crazy.
buying one of those, but I don't know.
It's just lightweight. And I didn't have that much space for a real mouse pad.
It doesn't move around or anything?
No, it sticks at the bottom.
Oh, okay. Got like little rubber things.
Yeah, it had adhesive. I just removed it so many times. but still sticks. That's why I like it. So games that you recommend, like for FPS, RPG, STR, whatever you call strategy. What games would you recommend to play?
We could be here all day.
We got enough time, bro. We're under 40 minutes right now.
I can recommend, if you don't want to be a crybaby about games, buy Battlefield 4. It's fun. Counter-Strike's fun. Left 4 Dead's fun for how cheap it is.
Yeah, Left 4 Dead.
What other games do we play?
Payday.
Payday's pretty fun, yeah.
Somebody didn't buy it.
It wasn't me.
Fuck, what else do we play?
Minecraft. Minecraft is a good one, yeah. Minecraft.
Everybody go on Steam libraries.
That's why I just started clicking. I couldn't play. Gary's Mod's good.
Oh, Gary's Mod, bro. We
Yeah,
should
so
play
it's
that
fun.
after this.
It's fun stuff. Anything, man. Everything's good.
What about your armor? You don't like your armor?
Oh, yeah, Arma's good, too, if you're into Milsim.
That's poorly optimized, as you know it.
It's because the engine that runs on, man. That's never going to be a game that runs very well. Just because of the engine that they use.
Oh, we forgot something that we all play, too. Borderlands.
Borderlands is a good one, yeah.
Yeah. Energy, you have anything you want to add in?
Just
She's going to say
for
Watch Dogs.
no, actually, I was gonna say there's some one game that I really enjoyed, and I wouldn't mind playing it again for a little while. But it's like the Command and Conquer series. If you enjoy like the RTS games, especially I enjoyed Command and Conquer Generals. So I was excited to hear that they were gonna make a new one, and it was with the Frostbite engine. However, I think they ended up releasing it as a free-to-play game. So I don't know if they did already or. Yeah, so I don't know what they've done with it yet, or if it's been released, but it was looking like it's going to be pretty good. But that's in terms of that type of game. The other games, like you mentioned already, Minecraft, Battlefield 4, 3 also. It's let's see. I don't know. I think we've pretty much covered them all that I think would.
One that should go like Left 4 Dead 2
fun.
is the funnest game we had in a while.
Yeah. And I do enjoy the Watch Dogs part of the online hacking stuff, as you probably know. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those games that just didn't really. They put it out there to be the next best thing, and it just wasn't that, and so it disappointed a lot of people. But I still enjoy it.
Right. The only games I would have to add would be like Tomb Raider, DuckTales. Woo. Games like that, LA Noire, that have a good story, that you can sit there for hours, like Bioshock, Infinite, and stuff, that you can get hooked into a story of Fallout New Vegas. But like I've said, they said Left 4 Dead 2 is the most fun we had. Energy with his frying pan, me with my sword, and Urk with his gasoline.
Oh, I remember him running around everywhere, gasoline.
I like fired it.
Do we have to call the cops, bro? Do you have a problem? But there's only one thing I would like to ask, which was on the thing. Since we already spoke about it. Raspberry Pi. What do you think?
Raspberry Pi.
I said Pi earlier, and then you corrected me and said
No,
Pi.
you said Pi earlier.
Private investigator, bro.
There goes a Raspberry Pi right here, man. It's very nice. It's nice and small. Runs on an SD disk. It's good for learning. If you want to learn how to run Linux distros, you could put basically whatever the hell you want on it. You could double it as a home theater PC. You could do a lot of stuff for it, man. Actually, I think they originally started developing them for basically kids that couldn't afford computers to learn on, and these are a cheap alternative because you could do everything a computer does other than obviously play games and stuff like that, but it's something for kids to learn on. You can learn programming on it. You can do a lot of stuff with it. I know that they sell, you could buy like stuff on it to plug into different ports like cameras, all kinds of shit that they're coming out with now for these things. They're real neat for what the price is. I think you could pick them up for $35, but then you get a case and power supply. That adds up to about, I don't know, $50 or something. But if you like learning, man, it's definitely useful.
Energy.
Yeah. I don't really have too much experience with one, but I'm thinking about getting one just to mess with it and see what it can do. I've always wanted a small computer like that where you can basically have a lot of freedom to do whatever you want. Not whatever you want, but not like gaming and stuff like that, like you just mentioned, Eric, but just being able to program in it. And if you want to make it mobile, you can put some wheels on it and it'll probably take off. Probably put on some remote control type stuff on there and do whatever, do the robotics or program a small little, server type deal or something like that. So it just depends. There's a lot of things that are useful for it. So it's good to check out if you want to see something like that.
Yeah, I actually want to get one now just because to have, put and play with Linux again. Since I already have a Mac, we all have Windows, and get back to coding. It's a fun little tool. It's cheap, $35. You can't go wrong. But everybody, that's our show for the week. You guys know where to find me. I'm right with my hands right. I have this camera right there. The Rican 3351, spelled correctly this week with the I right there after the R. Or follow me on Twitter at YUDD_Dom. Who wants to go next?
I realized that mine doesn't say Twitch down here. I'm too lazy to fix it. But if you put this word and this word together, and then you smush it together like that, and then you go head up here, and you put twitch.tv/ in front of that, and you can find my stream, dude.
And last but not least.
Yep, same. It's right there.
It's hard with these
I'm
cameras.
trying to point, yeah, because you can't.
Yeah.
And then you get the closer you get to the camera, the
Yeah.
further your finger gets. But no, yeah, it's or closer. I mean, yeah, Twitch TV / Energy Dude. There's also a Twitter account, YUDD Energy. So I'm actually using a little bit more, but still either through there or you can find me there like in the chat a lot of times. So if you need to leave a message, or you can actually just on the Twitch message. Whatever it's called, Messenger, I guess, or whatever, or private message as well. So,
All right, that's our show.
Follow.
Catch everybody next week. Don't forget to follow, subscribe. Hopefully, Eric and Energy follow and subscribe this week.
I will. I'll try. I'm getting to it.
Yeah. All right, later, guys. Bye bye.
See you later.